Hi everyone, and welcome to our NHVR Solutions webinar for release 9.5, coming to you from Brisbane on the 19th of May. Just to quickly run through our agenda, we'll be doing some welcome and housekeeping. We'll go through a roadmap update, do a highlight of the new features we are releasing today in 9.50. We'll do a recap of the roadmap, and then we'll provide you with the next details of the webinar and contact details for any assistance that you might require. Panel members online today are John Barry, our Product Manager, Nathan Smith, a Product Analyst, Stephen Ryan, Product Analyst, and myself, Carly Furlong, Senior Digital Engagement. Format for the webinar today will show you slides and new feature demonstrations. At the end, we'll provide the contact details for any queries or feedback. I'm going to hand over to John Barry now to talk about the roadmap for 2021.
Great. Thanks, Carly. So our roadmap has really been focused on PBS, and that's been our major initiative for 2021. We'll provide a bit of an update on that. The remaining work has been really on continuous improvement for access, accreditation, and vehicle standards. And we've also started looking at the digital asset management module, which really falls under tools to support road managers and operators from an access perspective. Moving into the next financial year and into 2022 even, we're going to start looking at providing a bit more visibility of the things that are under consideration from a portal development perspective. And also a place to go to see everything that has been released, and even stuff that's in progress and under active development. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly show you where you can go and find that information for yourself now as part of this release. I'm going to go into share my screen for you, and in the portal. So we've got two different views, and it'll depend on how you're logged into the portal. So if you're a road manager and you log in, under the information hub, you'll see a portal roadmap menu item. If you click on that, what you'll get is a view of everything that we currently have under consideration, everything that we have actively in progress, and also that history of what we've been releasing divided by quarters. So from a state and territory perspective, you can see that the digital asset management module and the self-service analytic reporting are things that we've released over the last couple of months, or last 6 months even. In progress, and for this release, we'll be talking about some improvements to the return trip route planner, and also the ability to export data from the analytics report. Local governments, you will also have this feature available. It'll come up as local government roadmap, and you'll be able to see exactly the same type of information. From a customer point of view, I'll just jump in. So again, for heavy vehicle operators, if you're logged in as a customer, navigate again to the same spot under Information Hub Portal Roadmap, and that'll load up, again, the things that we've got under consideration, things that are in progress. From this perspective, there's a couple of extra things that are not really specific to road management, definitely more from a heavy vehicle operator perspective. And we'll be going through what we're releasing today. So the developer platform, there's download and registration Android device packages, and also the release of the RTO list. Probably importantly, in terms of what's actively developed at the moment, and more than likely looking at release in the next month, you get to see what we're working on, and we'll go through that a bit more as we wrap up. So using this tool, you'll be able to click on these items and really tell us whether they're important to you or not. So we're looking to get feedback from heavy vehicle operators and road managers. We've started adding things to the list as we've received them, and they've been considered as things that we'll be looking at. So my stakeholder engagement area in particular, but also feedback coming through from Hypercare and the call centre. that information and any contact that you provide directly to our team through the digital@nhvr.gov.au mailbox, that gets considered on a monthly basis, and the business areas, so access, accreditation, vehicle standards and PBS, will prioritise work that we do for you. So having things under consideration gives you the ability to provide feedback and tell us whether it is really important to you, and we'll use that to inform our road mapping over the next few months and into next year. So that's a quick overview on our roadmap tools. We'll get back into a bit of the roadmap at the end of this session. What we'll do now is we'll start going through what we actually have in the release for today. And I'll hand over to Steve, who's going to take us through the first few features specific to PBS and vehicle standards.
So in the PBS service line, what we've enabled, or will go in the release for today, is allowing Excel files to be attached to portal applications. So previously you couldn't attach Excel files, and there'd been some feedback from external applicants around documents that they would normally send through with an application. Some applicants use information related to tyre charts and tyre sizing and those types of things. They send them in via Excel spreadsheets. So there's been a workaround that's been used recently, send that in separately via an email. We want to get all the application information, obviously, sort of consolidated in the one place. So what we've done is we've enabled these files to be able to be added into the applications. They'll go into the miscellaneous attachment section, and I'll demo this in a second. And you can do this on both design approval and vehicle approval applications. So that just does give that flexibility across the whole range of applications. So for those that are familiar with the portal and the way that you can submit the applications, there is a section in here for attachments. You'll see there's all the various different sections around certified certificates, design approvals. The ones that are optional are marked optional. Things that aren't marked optional are mandatory. You'll see in these sections here that they've got accepted file types, so PDFs, .doc, which are Word documents. What you'll see down the bottom now is in the miscellaneous documents section, these were the allowed file types previously, and now you'll see there's additional 3 on the end. So there's 2 different types of Excel files, which are just different versions between older versions of Excel and newer versions. And the one at the end, .csv, is a comma separated values file. It doesn't have to be come out of Excel, but generally the ones that I've seen come out of Excel. But there is that sort of those options. So I can show now, you won't be able to, I'll just drag these files in, and you'll be able to see how they show up. So you'll see those showing up in there now. So you'll see they're all called demo, but there's a .csv, comma separated values, and the 2 different types of Excel files. Previously, if you had tried to drag those into that section, or if you try to drag it into one of these sections where that's not an allowable file type, you'll just get an error and it won't allow you to attach that type of file. So hopefully that'll be something that'll be useful for applicants putting these PDS applications in, that you can get any type of file that you need to attach to an application will be accepted. And it's based on actual feedback we've had from a few assessors and certifiers about files that they'd like to be able to attach. So that will provide that piece of functionality. The next one we've got to show for today is around vehicle standards. So it's updates to turning ability labels and non-compliant dimension sections. There's only a little bit of this that's visible externally. There's a little bit of information that happens internally. So I'll just show today the part that will impact the applicants outside of NHVR that are putting these applications through. So again, here on screen, you'll see a new vehicle standard application for in-principle support. For those that are familiar with the applications, you'll know what these questions look like. And there's a section down here about turning ability. So if you have a vehicle that's got like a really large turning circle, which we call turning ability. It's got a label of turning ability. It's got the sort of description next to the tick box. And just before I tick this and show what it does, I'll show you on another page here about description. There's also in here about non-compliant dimensions. So you'll see one in here for turning ability. What we've implemented now is updating these to show that the labels are the same. Previously, for those with keen eyes would have seen that this was named turning circle. So there's been a push to get consistency between those labels across the different screens to make sure that people are really clear on what one label on one screen means to the other, that they are exactly the same thing. And the other piece that works here now is that if I do tick this box, and I've put in a turning circle that's greater than 25 metres. When I go back to this page here, you'll now see that turning ability is selected. So there are business rules that are built into the back end of the system, that when those non-compliant dimensions are selected through various different stages of the process around width, length, height, and now also turning ability, it will automatically select in this screen. And so previously, as an applicant, you wouldn't have had to tick that yourself. That's part of the assessment that the vehicle standards team do. But that's an assistance for them as well, that they don't need to try and make sure that they don't miss one of those. It now automatically selects when that box has been ticked. So those are the two I wanted to go through today for PVS and vehicle standards. Thank you very much. I'll pass back to John.
Great, thanks, Steve. So we also have some improvements this month for access and accreditation. I'll hand over to Nathan to take us through those.
Thank you, John. I'll just share my screen. So that should be coming up there. So the first one we have is for return trips linked by destination and source waypoints to help reduce calls from the access team for plotting the return journey. The portal will now require yourselves, the customer, to select the final destination and confirm it against its original start location. And the good thing is as well too, we've also built in a build function that'll, if it comes back the same way, it'll plot the return trip for you in utilising the waypoints that you've already used in the original journey. And of course as well, you can change those, remove those, and plot your own one on the way back as well. So I'll just quickly demonstrate that for you. So as we can see here, there's a path being chosen. A route being chosen, and you've got your selections here to select your final destination. And once that's done, you puts your return trip back to where you came from. And as I said, you can add your waypoints in for your return route, or if need be, we've provided it so that you can build the return trip utilizing the previous waypoints that have been on your way back, and you can adjust those accordingly, because as we know, your return trip back, you may not be able to use that same route back. So that just helps to processing of your permits a lot faster, and just makes it easier for everyone as well too. For the accreditation side of things, we've now provided the registered training organisations will now be available in the information hub in the portal. It's also available on the website too, and then eventually all of it will be coming over that you can just utilise the portal as your one-stop shop for it. So you don't even have to be logged in, have it under information hub, and there's our list provided there, and that'll be updated accordingly by the accreditation team, so there should always be an up-to-date list there for you as well. Thanks very much. That's it for the access and accreditation side of things.
Awesome, thanks, Nathan. The last couple of things that we are looking to release today is one is for road managers. So with the analytics reports that are available through the portal now, we've had some great feedback from local government in particular around the use of those reports. One of the requested improvements was to enable the report data to be exported. And so we have we soft launched that a few weeks ago just to get some production feedback, but we're ready to announce that now. So I'll give you a quick demo for those that aren't aware of this particular feature, and I'll also be going into after that the developer portal and a release of effectively the registration checker mobile app in a package that you can then directly deploy to your own private Android devices that may not have access to the Google Play Store. So I'll cover that off as well as part of my demo. Okay, so for road managers in particular, under the reports section in your analytics reports, we still have the two BI reports available to you. What we've done with the tables in these reports is provide an option that will allow you to export the data to a CSV or Excel type format. So as an example, one of the more popular reports is the consents completed by period report. And if you click on the three dots at the end of each of the tables, you'll now see an option to export data. When you click on that, you'll get the ability to export the data that you see there to either an Excel or CSV format with those limitations on the maximum number of rows. At this stage, it is just the summary data that we're allowing you to export. So you'll be able to expand these fields and see the information in there and then export that to Excel. In the future, we'll be looking at potentially some more detailed data that you'll be able to export as well. So pleased to be able to release this feature to you. Please try, go in, have a look and export. If you need any help, our stakeholder engagement area will be happy to assist. And we'll have the contact details at the end of this presentation. Finally, we have the Android APK. So we've had some requests over the last couple of months, in particular for particularly operators with in-cab devices and a fleet of those type of that type of hardware, where getting access to the registration checker isn't possible by going through the Google Play Store. So what we've done is in our developer portal, for those that haven't seen it before, is a recently launched portal specifically targeting application developers. It's currently providing services for PBS, assessors and certifiers to be able to use our application programming interface to effectively link systems together. And we're continuing to invest in this platform, and you'll see more coming out of this in the near future. What we've done on the home page is provide an ability to download the Android APK. You will need to log in. The login is your portal login. Once you've logged in, you'll then be able to access a download button, which will give you the package, and you should be able to deploy that to your own Android devices. If you need any feedback or you want to give us any feedback or you need any assistance, there is contact details and help and support down at the bottom of the portal developer portal page. And again, we'll provide some contact details at the end of this webinar. Finally, what I wanted to go into is our roadmap and just revisit the roadmap tool that we covered off at the beginning of this webinar. Now, for road managers, again, you'll see what we have released. We've just gone through a couple of the improvements that we'll be preparing to release today. In the development section, you'll see what we're looking at working on and we're actively working on at the moment. Probably one of the key ones is reducing consent requests on renewals. We know this has been an ongoing issue. We are looking to make some improvements to ensure that if you provided 3 years consent and other road managers within the application may not have, that we don't send consents back to you because your consent period's already covered subsequent renewals to the permit. So we did have some work on that last month that we released. We need to do a bit more to account for various different types of amendments to applications and permits. And we're working on that now, and hopefully we may have a solution to this for next month's release. Secondly, again, with the developer platform, as I said, we are extending that platform, and one of the first extensions we're making is providing an access API. This will allow any road manager to retrieve their consent data and also permit data directly through an API. So for those that have systems and case management or even engineering management systems that you want to be able to link into, we'll be launching this in the next release more formally. We will have a stakeholder engagement session on this. So if you are interested, again, contact details will be at the end of this webinar. Please let us know, and I would love to work with you to expand this service to help you get access to the data in the portal in a more automated way. From a customer perspective, if I switch over to our customer roadmap, again, under the Information Hub portal roadmap, you'll get access to the released history over the last 4 months here. In progress, you've seen the 4 items in particular that of interest to heavy vehicle operators. The return trip route plan improvements, the ability to download that APK for those operators that want to use that app in their own devices, and the vehicle standards turning ability. In terms of what we've got currently on the an active development, again, the reducing the consent requests on permits, while more specific to road managers, obviously if we can improve and reduce the number of consents going out, we can try and improve the turnaround times and get those consents focused on those that road managers that need to provide consent and not those that don't. We are actively working on a new version of the registration checker app, and that will be to display primary producer concession codes and dangerous goods vehicle licenses. We'll continue working on that, and obviously when that becomes available, that will also get published for those that want to use it on their own private Android devices. Probably some feedback that we've had across the board is being able to provide additional payment options. So currently we have credit card as really the only online payment option that you have for your access permit and accreditation applications. We are looking at some more options. You can come in here to have a look at what we are looking at here. We're going to be launching a survey on this, so you'll see this when you start to finalise and pay for your access permit or accreditation applications over the next couple of weeks, really to get some feedback from industry, from users of the portal that are paying for what sort of payment options and what sort of features you'd be looking for from a new payment options that we could provide. We're also looking at automating our back-end processes for refunds. So this will really help to just get where the refunds are required and they have been approved. Currently, it's a manual process in the back end here for our finance team. By automating this, where the refund is approved, it will be immediately processed and get those funds back to you. But also, you'll be able to see now a register of refund receipts in the same place that you can see your payment receipts in the portal. And finally, for PBS, we're going to start looking at, and we're starting work now on being able to provide a case tracker for PBS applications to heavy vehicle operators. So within the customer portal here, we're working on providing those operators who have got applications for either design approval applications or vehicle approval applications, providing you visibility of that in the portal here, so you can see the progress of that. So hopefully that will improve visibility of the status of those applications, and we'll continue working on the PBS platform so that we can continue to integrate and streamline the process end to end, from particularly vehicle approvals being streamlined into access permit applications and getting those permits approved as well. So that's our roadmaps and what we're currently working on now. Please come in here, have a look. Under consideration at the moment for heavy vehicle operators is really focused on a bit of a Achilles heel for us, which is how we manage push-pull truck configurations for partial routes. For those applicants that do submit applications using push-pull, you'll know that you're constantly getting information requests to provide more information about different configurations for different parts of the route. We're looking at, under consideration is looking at automating that part, providing functionality that will allow you to tell us what the configurations might be for different parts of the route, so that that information is recorded at the point of application, available to road managers so they can make that consent decision in a more informed way, and hopefully in a lot faster way. It'll also help with the production of the permits. These permits here aren't automated because they need to be, there's additional information that needs to be provided in the permit, and so the access facilitators here do a bit of manual work to produce those permits, which again slows down the process. So this is one that is being looked at and analysed now. We're keen to get any feedback if this is important to you, and for the next webinar, you'll see that we'll start to put in some more ideas. So if you have any ideas, please let us know. We'll have those details again at the end of the webinar. Okay, all right. So bringing us to the end of the webinar then. The next webinar will again be next month, third Wednesday of the month, 16th of June. We'll be looking to progress those features that we have in progress that you can see on your roadmaps in the portal, and they'll be hopefully candidates for release in the next month. As I said, always keen to get your feedback. You'll begin to see now that you've got some access to some of the plans that we have in progress and under consideration. If you have any ideas or any feedback for us, you can contact us through the call centre or through email directly at support@nhvr.gov.au. And for road managers, of course, the OM hotline and the om.inquiries@nhvr.gov.au. All right. That takes us to the end of the webinar. Thank you very much, and we look forward to receiving your feedback over the next month and updating you on our progress and in our next release. Thanks again.